enough. No. Have you seen Zion mad one time? Have you seen him even upset?
No, that's a really interesting point. I hadn't even thought about that. I've never seen him like, he snarls.
Even when he blew out his shoe, almost lost his career right there. No, he would.
All right, with that body, though, let's just say he had the anger quotient you're talking about. What position? Is he a tight end or a defensive?
I think we're going to put him in the weight room. He's going to be a defensive tackle, man. He ain't going to be no deep. Do you see the butt on him? The shoulders on him? You start lifting some weights? Oh, yeah, he's definitely a 3 technique. Get down. He got a 90s number.
So we get him Warren Sapp's mentality in the weight room.
Let's just go a little lower, because Sapp watches the show. He'll be upset, man. Tell dude put some respect on my name.
Sapp already been upset with me a long time.
David Griffin said he's still growing upward. Forget outward. So you put another couple inches on him and then throw all that weight on him? He can play anything you want him to play.
Yeah, I'm just worried about in New Orleans, yes, David Griffin, he might be still growing. But that food,
It's also growing.
Oh, man.
The appetite.
Yeah, he's no vegan.
No, he's not.
All right, time to start your morning with a couple of these stories. With no Ezekiel Elliott in camp, the Cowboys signed running back Alfred Morris to a 1-year deal. Morris was Zeke's backup back in 2016 and 2017. Chris Carter, good move by the Cowboys?
Rock solid, good player, can catch the ball out of the backfield, the style of running for which Dallas likes to. He's used to the blocking scheme, so it will be second nature to him. Great locker room guy, went to school there at FAU in Boca Raton, so he's had a good NFL career after being a mid-round pick.
Had a tremendous rookie season, has been a solid player since then. They had to make some type of move. They have to have some contingency. Prior to signing Alfred Morris, they had 16 total career rushing yards on their roster from their running backs. They had one guy with 6 carries for 16 yards and some rookies. So you had to get someone out there that you know is at the very least a competent NFL back.
And Tony Pollard, the guy they drafted in the 4th round, he's more of a receiver than he is a runner.
All right, to the Ravens now. Head coach John Harbaugh was asked about how many times quarterback Lamar Jackson will run the ball this season. Harbaugh said, I'd bet the over on that one. I'd bet the over for sure. Nick, is this a winning formula for the Ravens to have him run maybe that many yards?
On an individual basis, it's very effective. The problem is, on a long enough timeline, his injury rate will be 100%. And so if you look at the 10 highest rushing total games by a quarterback in modern NFL history, I think Lamar already has half of them in just his half season starting. And so it's not sustainable. Last year, I got it. They were trying to win playoff games, get to the playoffs. But for him, for his career, he can't be running the ball 15 to 20 times a game. No one in NFL history has done it from that position.
Yeah, he's the Ben Simmons of the NFL. He don't have no jump shot yet, but he's effective. Can he be an all-star running the ball like that? Absolutely. And Harbaugh is doing the right thing. The early part of his career, I'm going to utilize his legs until his arm and his throwing motion, the passing game comes. He'll run less than he did last year, but Harbaugh's a smart football coach, and they realize his biggest threat right now is to be the dual threat.
All right, moving on, a little basketball now. LeBron James has come under fire recently for his behavior on his son's AAU game. LeBron ran onto the court to celebrate an alley-oop in which he lost his shoe in the process. He got in on the dunk line. He had some fun with everyone, posed for some pictures afterwards. Nick, what was your reaction to a little bit of the heat that LeBron took yesterday for all of this?
I think we've officially reached peak LeBron James derangement syndrome from some folks. The idea that it would be controversial and vehement, really pointed criticism for LeBron being an exuberant, if not at times over the top, involved, enthusiastic sports parent is just insanity to me. And it is a lot of adults putting what they think they would want in place of what the kids involved have said repeatedly they want and they enjoy. The young man involved in the alley-oop that LeBron is celebrating there, Dior Johnson, he took to Twitter to say, man, you guys don't know what you're talking about. You don't know how cool this is for us, how much we enjoy this. Some other kids that have been on LeBron's Suns teams in the past have talked about the group chats they're all on together. And there is undoubtedly a part of this where LeBron, who had a ton of amazing amateur athletic moments, none of which he got to share with his father, is making the pointed case of, I am going to do for my kids at their games what my dad never did for me. And should he run onto the court? I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you this, the first time my son ever dunked in a basketball game, I ran onto the court and dapped him up. And he got embarrassed and he pushed me to the side, but it is a moment he and I have forever. And so I get it. I think a lot of parents get it. But the idea, you can critique some of the histrionics, but the idea that this is a bad thing, or that he's doing, a guy with 100 million Instagram followers is doing this for attention, is to me so missing the mark. It's kind of unbelievable to me.
Well, the one thing, I'll correct you on something, because it doesn't always work like this. I grew up in a family of 7 kids. My mom raised us. My brother Butch was the man of the family. He was my hero. But also, when we grew up, we didn't have a father. We did things not out of, oh, I wish I had my dad to do this, because you don't know that. You don't know what you do with your dad. What you do is set out to say, I'm going to be a better dad than whatever he had going on in his life, because you don't know. People go through different situations, so you don't do that. You just say, I'm going to be a better dad than what I had. And I've been involved in my kid's life, and the difference between what LeBron did and what you did to your son, because what you did to your son was wrong, because your son didn't give you consent to do that, and it embarrassed him. If your kids invite you, if they have the personality, my son Duran, my daughter Monterey, I coached both of them coming up, and they were totally different. Going to the games, and both of them played at an elite level. Monterey wanted me to drive her to every game and control the music because she liked the music. She's like, Daddy, hit me with some of that pregame music. So I hit her with the pregame music, and she didn't want me to sit with the rest of the parents playing soccer. She wanted me to sit at the near goal and be able to talk to her. And that was a situation we worked out. Duran played travel baseball, played football at a high level, and I coached teams like LeBron. So I was involved driving these kids around, chatting with them, knowing their parents. And the experience that they are having goes beyond these videos and everything. You can believe that LeBron, his heart's in the right place. Him and Savannah, they are great parents. And when you are great parents like that and you have resources, you have to be an asset to these other kids who don't necessarily have the same type of things. I got 5 guys playing in pro who spent legitimate months at my house when their living situation, it wasn't the best. And there were times where during the game, I remember my son made a play and I was on the field and the ref threw the flag just because I was Chris Carter and everything. But one of the highlights of my life was the relationships I've developed through my brother being drafted by the Lakers. I was in high school. My brother used to come to the game, so I know how Bronny feels. Having someone like that in the stands. And I met Kareem, met Magic. Me and Isaiah Thomas, still good friends to this day because of our relationship. LeBron James's son is going through a very, very special time. He should be able to live it, and he's comfortable with it, so I'm comfortable. I made a couple jokes yesterday about it, about him and his little girls and everything, but as long as the kids are comfortable, because it's their world, it's their life. And LeBron, he knows that, and they're doing a great job, and we need to find something else to criticize LeBron about besides his parenting.
Well, and there's one other element, and this is not just for LeBron. This is the modern NBA star. There was a very controversial, but I think famous, I think people remember it, Sports Illustrated cover from May of '98, so right before Jordan won his 6th title. And it was a little adorable little kid holding a basketball, and it said, "Where's Daddy?" And it was a long-form article about basically non-existent or... Go ahead, see.
No, I was thinking of a story with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan and I, we were on a yacht in the Bahamas. And his kids had never been on a jet ski. And, man, we were out there jet skiing. His kids, Mike was like, I can't swim. My kids aren't going out there. I was like, Mike, I'm taking your kids out there. And I started to take them on. He was like, no one's going to take my kids on a jet ski. So he ended up, me and Jeffrey, last year we saw each other in Vegas, his son, and we were talking about those types of moments. So it's tough when you are the iconic players like Jordan, LeBron.
Well, and to finish the thought, there was once upon a time, if I said, just 20 years ago, if I said NBA dad to the general public, what you thought of was, oh, deadbeat, not there, not around. Even if it was totally unfair, even that Sports Illustrated article set the tone unfairly, which I think it did. Right now, if you say NBA dad, You think of Steph at the podium with his kids, LeBron doing this, Russ with his little toddler practicing before the game, which is important visually, especially given who's in the NBA and the situations a lot of these guys came from. And so of all, I get it. LeBron's the most discussed athlete we have in America today. But of all the things, you criticize him for how corny his Taco Tuesday dad jokes are.
Not for how present he is with his kids and throughout everything.
And the kids seem to love it, to Chris's point. And I mean, I was like the assistant coach when I ran on the court. There was a timeout. It wasn't as bad as you maybe think it was.
Only reason why you coaching because you sponsoring the team. Let's roll.
All right, let's move on to the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's totally true.
Carson Wentz was all smiles at training camp this week. The Eagles quarterback got